It's Wolf, and this is gonna be a different and kind of messy video. Long story short, as you guys can tell, I have a Mac. I bought a 2009 Mac Mini a couple weeks ago, did some upgrades, and then bought some games, and in this video I'm going to be trying to see how those games play on it. But also my cat is in here, and I'm also currently entangled in an absolute insane mess of wires to get everything to record properly. Yeah, there might be like a lot of weird cuts and everything in this video, but anyway, to get right into it, the two games, and I'll tell you guys more about the Mac itself when I get into installing one of the games, but the two games I bought were actually pretty different than one another. I bought Prey and I bought Call of Duty 4 because I knew that both of these had Mac versions, and Prey just kind of popped into my mind the other day. I was like, you know, I never played the old version of Prey, and I remembered seeing a thing on like X-Play when I was a kid about it and being kind of interested in it, and I just never played it. So I found out that has a version on Mac, so I went ahead and, I bought it. But the only thing is, this was a used copy, so I don't know if it'll work, because I saw that it has a license key on the back of the instruction manual, so that might not want to cooperate with me. Man, Mac asking me all these questions. I thought I updated everything. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna put the Prey disc in and see if it does anything. Also, the super drive on this Mac Mini does work, however it makes some interesting sounds, so I'm hoping that it will continue to work and I don't have to take it apart again and like retrieve one of these discs, but we're just going to try to use the built-in super drive. I do have an external drive that should work with it anyway, but okay, there it is, Prey. So let's see what happens. To install, drag to your hard disk. God, that Macs do this. You have to like, yeah, I always forget that Macs have you install things in such a weird way. You have to drag the file from the thing, and they always look like that. It's kind of weird. Anyway, you know, let's just make a new folder on the desktop, call it games. I don't actually use this Mac for anything right now. I don't really have a use for it because I have other computers that I actually use for stuff, but I just kind of wanted to own a Mac in case I get any files sent to me that are Mac exclusive, because that does happen sometimes. So all right, that has been dragged, so now it's copying. So there will probably be, like I said, cuts and speed ups in this video, but anyway, while it's doing this, I wanted to explain the Mac. So yes, I bought this Mac Mini. It didn't really end up costing me all that much to get it fixed and into working order and everything. I got it and it was working and everything fine, but the hard drive in it was kind of really slow and kind of on its last legs, and I wanted to replace that sort of regardless. Sorry, you guys can hear my cat deciding to attack the window. Lately she's gotten into this habit of every time I go to record a video or anything, she decides to just attack everything in the room. There it is, and there she goes stepping on the box for the Elgato. And back in the window. Anyway, I bought the Mac and it was working, but I needed to upgrade some stuff, and I knew that I was going to need to get a new hard drive, but then subsequently, because I needed to get a new hard drive, the easiest OS to reinstall on here was actually Mac OS 11, which turns out to be the newest OS for this version of Mac, this model of Mac, which then I looked up online about RAM, and they were saying that, like, yeah, it's usable with the base RAM, even with 10.11 Mac OS, but you should really upgrade it. So then I also bought some RAM. And then to actually open this Mac, because Macs are Macs, they're not easy to open, I had to buy a spudger. Anyway, I own this Mac, but for like a month I didn't actually do anything with it, because I couldn't open it or anything to replace everything. But finally, eventually, all the parts got here. And I was thinking about recording a video where I replaced the parts and stuff, but it ended up being like way too much of a process. I decided not to record it. But long story short, I replaced the RAM. I upgraded the RAM from 2 gigabytes that came with it to 2 4-gigabyte sticks. Interestingly, I thought it would cost more money to buy specifically Mac branded memory, because like I was trying to find the same speed and style of memory and everything, because I didn't really care about upgrading the speed or anything. I just wanted to get more RAM in general. So it was like 1066 megahertz RAM that came in at DDR3, and so I just bought more DDR3 1066 megahertz RAM. And when I looked it up, oddly enough, the only version that was from a like trusted manufacturer that I found was some memory from Corsair, and it was specifically branded as Mac memory. But oddly enough, it wasn't that much expensive than any of the other memory that I saw. So I just bought that, and then I put a PNY 120 gigabyte SSD in it. Just went with the small size because like I said, I don't actually have a use for this Mac outside of like games, and specifically like if I ever get a file that's like just a Mac file, because I've had that happen before in college where people will send me stuff and it's like only openable on a Mac for some reason. So that's about it, I think, for upgrades and stuff. Oh, one other thing though, when I took it apart, it was kind of funny because I could tell that somebody else had opened it before because 2 of the screws were missing. When you open up this model of Mac Mini, you have to kind of, it's like almost 2 separate boards that you have to like take apart to replace the hard drive or the RAM. And when I did that, 2 of the screws were missing, which I just thought was kind of funny because nothing in it actually seemed to have been changed, except for it's missing its Bluetooth antenna. When I looked up videos online of how to replace everything, it was like remove the antennas. In all the videos I saw, this model of Mac Mini had 3 antennas. Mine only has 2, and I was looking, and it appears that it's the Bluetooth one because on my like devices tab or whatever, it says that Bluetooth is not connected. So, but also I don't really use Bluetooth that much in general on anything, so it's not a big deal. But I just thought that was kind of funny. I was like, why would they take the Bluetooth antenna specifically out? Because the rest of the Mac worked too. It wasn't like a parts machine or anything. But yeah, and then after upgrading everything, what did I do after that? Well, first, before I upgraded everything, I needed to make a Mac OS install USB. But the thing with macOS install USBs is you kind of have to make them on a Mac. And since I don't own another Mac, I had to do that on the old version of macOS that was on the old hard drive. Honestly, once I kind of read the instructions online, it really wasn't that challenging to do. You just download the installer for whatever Mac version you want, and macOS is free to download because you're supposed to use it only on a Mac. So you can download macOS right from the Apple website for free. And they still have a bunch of different versions also. For how proprietary Mac is and everything, I was kind of surprised with how easy it was to set up some of this stuff, which I'm just realizing now also. I completely forgot to plug in the audio cable. Speaking of proprietariness, this Mac doesn't have a HDMI output built in. It has like a DisplayPort or whatever, and it came with a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter, but DisplayPort doesn't have audio, so there's no audio coming through the recording. But honestly, that's fine for what this is anyway. I don't feel like dealing with that now, but you guys will maybe hear it built-in Mac speakers playing through my microphone. Yeah, I had to make that installer, but it's not that hard. Like I said, they have tutorials of how to do it on the Apple website. You just download the installer program for whatever version of macOS you want to do, and then you type in a command in Terminal, and you have a USB stick plugged in, and it'll do it. It took about 40 minutes, I think, for its copy over. It doesn't actually give you like a progress bar, which is a little concerning, but I used a USB drive that has like a little light on it that blinks to tell you that it's doing things. It copied over. Like I said, I didn't pay exactly attention to how long it took, but I think it took about 40 minutes. And then when I went to reinstall it, I put all the new parts in and then formatted the SSD using the like install environments format tool, which worked fine. And then the only other issue I ran into is that this computer has a dead CMOS battery, which I meant to take out because I can just set the time whenever I log into it anyway. I'd rather just not have a battery and not have to worry about it leaking in the future. I don't think button cell batteries leak that often, but just in case. So I forgot to take that out, but that was dead, so that actually gave me an error when I went to install everything. It said that it was like could not be confirmed or whatever because the date on the Mac was incorrect, but you can actually run a terminal command from the pre-install environment to set the date, which subsequently fixes everything. And then I set everything up, and the only other thing I think I've done since then was I think I updated Safari, but Safari still doesn't really work that well with things, so I installed Firefox because I figured Firefox probably has more modern support, because stuff like Firefox and Chrome tend to support older operating systems for longer than the actual manufacturers, and Firefox does seem to be an up-to-date version, but I could be wrong about that. But it was able to look at YouTube videos and everything, but sometimes it's easy to forget that the computer's from 2009, because I mean it's displaying in I think 1080p right now. Actually, I can check that because I'm using a TV. Where's the info button? displaying in 1080p, but then you remember like 2009 1080p was kind of like, I mean, it was there, it was a thing that was not impossible, but 1080p can take a bit of work out of a computer from back then. So when we actually do get into playing games, I'll probably end up turning them down to the lowest settings. But yeah, I think I'm gonna shut up now, and then it'll probably just be like a skip ahead to when the game finishes installing. It has finished installing, so, and my cat has tired herself out, so hopefully it'll be quiet. Let's see. So here's Prey. Just kind of threw the folders in here. It's funny because in macOS you can do that. You can just kind of flop the folders wherever you want. But it really just threw them in there. This looks like the button to start the actual game, and then we can probably exit out of that. We don't really need that anymore. So let's go ahead and see if it'll start. Hopefully it doesn't need to like install again, because like I said, I don't really know how it works on Macs. I think of the two games, this one should run better because it's older, but again, I'm not sure if it will actually run because of the license key thing. Like I said, I bought this used, and I don't know how the licensing works for this game. Also, hopefully it's still even recording with like resolution changes. It should be fine, but yeah, here's Prey. Please enter your game key. Alright, well, let's see if it works. I know some games will let you play them even if you don't have a license key. They just like won't let you play multiplayer. Oh, wait, hang on. It's making sounds. Actually, hang on. Oh, God. What's the... Jeez, there's no Alt-Tab on Mac. Alright, we'll see if it does anything. I wonder if I wasn't connected to the internet. Oh! Hey. It worked. Okay. I didn't really think that it would, but I'm just wondering now. I'm connected to the internet, but I'm wondering if I wasn't, if it would not ask me for it. But anyway. Alright, maybe it's like associated with just this specific copy of the game. But, well, that's cool. That's cool that that worked. So now we do definitely have Prey. So, guess let's just click the normal... Cherokee mode. That was actually one of the reasons I bought this game, was kind of as I knew it had a Native American protagonist also, and I was thinking, you know, the only other game that I think I've played with a Native American protagonist, that like an obvious Native American protagonist, is Infamous Second Son. So let's start and just see how it runs. I'm not going to play much of it. This is mainly just a curious of how it runs kind of thing, but we'll see. Probably won't even see any aliens in this little bit of gameplay here. What is the Ethernet cord snagged on? Like I said, it's kind of awkward because you guys might be able to hear it coming through the Mac speaker because I don't have the audio plugged in properly. But I'll have to remember to just mute the audio next time. Okay, yes, this is where the game starts. I remember this from when I was younger, seeing this on XPlay. You start out in like a bar, and there was a thing they were showing on XPlay where like you could play like a bar, like some arcade games in the bar before you got abducted by aliens or whatever. But yeah, this is running kind of space, or shift is crouch. Oh my God. But yeah, things are running reasonably well. He's talking to people and stuff. Like I said, not really focusing on that because I want to but yeah, I mean, it all runs, and that's just the base settings. So anyway, we will go ahead and try Call of Duty 4 now. Call of Duty 4 definitely should work because it's a brand new copy and everything. So yeah, but before I do that, actually, I need to, oh geez, trying to remember how to turn the volume down on a Mac. So unlike Prey, I have played Call of Duty 4 before. Multiple times, actually. I have an entire playthrough of it on the channel. But I wanted to buy a copy of it on a different, not console. I wanted to get a PC copy of it, but then I saw it was like $5 for Mac, and I was looking for Mac games anyway, so I just bought the Mac version because I figured why not. I don't know if this game activates through Steam, because if it does, I think I'd be entitled to a Windows version as well. But sometimes, what am I thinking of? Sometimes like a CD key I think works on Steam even if it normally works on the game's installer itself or whatever. I don't know. I'll have to investigate. I don't even have Steam installed on here, but yeah, that's about it for the explanation of why I wanted to buy Call of Duty 4. So now I'm gonna sit and let this copy. Might actually stop the recording and then restart it again because it looks like it's gonna take a while. So I'll be back once this finishes copying. All right, Call of Duty 4 has now also gone ahead and copied over. So now we'll go ahead and try that. Ooh, it's got Call of Duty 4, the campaign and the multiplayer separately. You know, I think you can play the campaign without entering the license key in. I'm not sure. I'm actually gonna try out the multiplayer. Oh, well, I guess I gotta boot up the other version, enter the license key in first. But I was gonna say, I'm curious to see if anybody's playing. I think if it's the case that the Mac version can play with the Windows version, then I'm sure there's probably still people playing. But if it's not the case, if it's just the Mac version, then I kind of doubt that there will be many people online. Okay, not authorized there either. Wait, how do I enter in the key then? Alright, so part 2 of this video. In the first part, it's been a couple weeks since I recorded that first part there. In the first part, I went through trying to install Prey and Call of Duty 4 off of discs, and in that first part, Prey worked, which I was kind of surprised about because it was used copy, but I was getting an error on Call of Duty 4, and that was where I kind of left off. So, long story short, I spent a super long time trying to figure out that Call of Duty 4 thing, and I ended up finding a bunch of posts online from people from back in like 2009 when the Mac port of Call of Duty 4 first came out. And there was some sort of thing with like some of the discs or something, I guess, where like some of the discs just straight up didn't work or something like that. I couldn't really figure it out. But then I saw an Amazon review where somebody was running the same error as me, and they said they had downloaded a patch update to 1.7 of the game and that it fixed it. However, Aspire, the publisher of the Call of Duty 4 on Mac, Call of Duty 4 is such an old game that patch is no longer on their website. However, there's other places you can find the patch online, like the PC Gaming Wiki, which like hosts a whole ton of old patches and stuff for older games. So I downloaded it from there, but then it said that it was incompatible with my version of Mac OS. So I could not figure it out. So eventually I just kind of gave up on it and then like sort of put the Mac away for a while because didn't really need to use it for anything, although I'll probably play through Prey on it eventually. But then, well, in addition to the games I had on disc, I decided to download Steam on here, and I realized that there's a ton of games that I already owned that work on Mac, which was surprising because I remember just a couple years ago seeing stuff about how it was like really hard to game on Mac. But look, even Pleasure Airlines. But there's so many games that are listed as being compatible with Mac. Now a bunch of these won't run on this Mac because it's an older Mac, but I decided to try a few of them out, and I'm just going to kind of follow up the first part of the video with that. So first I'm going to show you guys Max Payne 3. I'm going to go in like order of least successful to most successful. So Max Payne 3, I've read that the reason why this runs so horribly on Mac is not necessarily because of the game itself, but it's because the way it was ported. It was ported using this thing called like Cider, I guess, which like sometimes just is really awful, I guess, for porting. But also this Mac being older is not the most powerful machine ever, so it kind of makes sense. And the game does play, and if I put it at minimum settings, I'll have to censor out all the keys. If I put it at minimum settings, it will kind of play in an almost playable state, but it still runs so slow that it would not be like an enjoyable experience. If this was the only way I could play Max Payne, I probably would be able to play through the whole game this way, but it's just like not great. Yeah, and also keep in mind that this is not a base Mac Mini 2009. I did upgrade this a little bit. Some games work almost alright, but Max Payne 3 does not work the greatest, so we'll just hop into story here. I'm like partially through the first chapter because I've just been on and off playing it. I think if I could run this in windowed mode, it would actually run better, but I can't seem to get it to run in windowed mode. There doesn't appear to be an option for that, but yeah, as you guys can see, it's kind of playable. It's not awful. And if you really wanted to play Max Payne 3, you could probably play it in this state, but it just runs so slow. It's like extra bullet time. But yeah, definitely not the most perfect way to play. And it's really strange that it doesn't have a windowed mode, because the next game that I'm going to show, Left 4 Dead 2, windowed mode actually worked, like helped the frame rate a lot. But yeah, so this is absolute minimum settings running, but it is cool that it works. So I thought that was neat. I remember hearing there was a specifically like a Mac OS version of this game that got released on the Mac store or whatever, but that is not the version they have on Steam, which is kind of weird. It's like they reported it for Steam, which is really strange. All right, so now we're back on the desktop here. So the next game, I actually didn't own Left 4 Dead 2 until, well, I owned Left 4 Dead 2 on the Xbox 360. Didn't own it on PC until like yesterday. It was on sale yesterday for like $2, and I kind of wanted the PC version anyway because like mods and stuff. Figure I might play around with those eventually. So, but it also happens to run on Mac. Now this one runs a little bit better than Max Payne 3, but not that great. And as you guys will see, it's gonna launch in like a very small window. I put it on the minimum settings, and it was starting to run okay when I put it on minimum settings. And then when I put it into windowed mode, it actually ran like even better, but it's just like a super small window. So try to hop into a quick first level here. This one, I'm trying to remember if this one takes a while to load or not. Max Payne 3 usually takes forever to load. It ran, well, not ran, it loaded surprisingly quickly for this video. Also, I bought Left 4 Dead 2 largely because it actually seems to contain all of the levels from the original Left 4 Dead. I found that out later on that on PC, I think all of the Left 4 Dead 2 DLC was free, and that it also included, that there was a DLC that included all of the original Left 4 Dead levels. So not really sure why anybody would buy the original Left 4 Dead, honestly, unless there's like specific mods or something they would want for that. But yeah, let's play single player match of just the first level here. And this one runs alright. It's another one of those situations where it's like, if this was the only way that I could play Left 4 Dead 2, it would work, but it's not perfect because it's such a small window and it still doesn't run super perfect. It does get an okay frame rate though. It usually seems to be at least 30, which is playable. So, and you know, that's something I don't understand. When people test out computers a lot of times, I feel like they never will do things like this, like put stuff on the minimum settings to see if it'll run. Like, for a long time, I didn't have a gaming computer, and I used to play games at like absolute minimum settings whenever I'd play computer games, and it was like, it was fine, you know, they looked like crap, but it's like, at least I could still play them. Now whenever you see like computer reviews and stuff, it seems like people always won't go like below 720p and stuff. I'm not like, I don't even know, 2. It's really low, but yeah, also no sound. That's just because I mentioned in the first part the way Mac Minis from 2009 worked, the sound is like a separate thing from the output anyway. So we'll go ahead and grab 2 pistols here, health pack. But yeah, as you guys can see, it runs alright. It does seem to get up to 60 when there's like not anything going on. When stuff starts going down, it kind of dips down to like 30-ish. Maybe even lower a little bit, but it's playable, it's doable. I played through the whole first level like this, and I mean, it's, you know, not the most bestest gaming experience, but it's really like not awful. So yeah, I'm sure if there was like more stuff going on, things would slow down. I think there was like an explosion later in this level that happens, and that kind of slowed things down a little bit. But yeah, definitely playable. Just you need to put everything on like the absolute minimum. So we'll go ahead and try out Call of Duty 4 now. So I bought the Mac version, well, I bought the Steam version of Call of Duty 4 because I wanted to buy it anyway. It sucks that I kind of bought it twice because I got the disc version and stuff, and the disc version didn't work, but I wanted to get it on Windows anyhow, so I figured get the Steam version because play some mods and stuff. Steam version works on Windows, Mac, and Linux, I think. So so yeah, we'll go ahead and play some of that. It gave me a product key. I don't really know why, because it never asks me for the product key when I go to play it, but now I have 2 Call of Duty 4 product keys that I don't know what for. But yeah, so this one surprisingly was the one that played the best. I have it just on the default settings. I don't know if I could raise or lower it at all, but you know, I saw a bunch of people online saying that Call of Duty 4 ran like awfully on Mac, but I mean, on this Mac it seems to run pretty much fine. So we gotta find a server to join. This is one of the things that I dislike about playing on PC, is that that you've got to it's not like official server. Well, it kind of is anyway. It can just be sort of a pain sometimes to figure out what server, because I've been trying to avoid ones with mods, because I don't really want to deal with downloading even more crap. This one may have been the one that I was playing earlier. Yeah, I think this was the one that I was playing earlier, so let's go ahead and join to that. I'm not sure if this is cross-platform or not, if Call of Duty 4 is. It kind of seems like it, but as you guys will see, Call of Duty 4 runs pretty well. It seems to jump between... Well, it stays mostly around 60. It's one of those things where you can kind of tell it's definitely not like a solid 60 FPS, but it stays close to it, and it's definitely playable. I mean, it is in like a 4:3 aspect ratio and everything, but it's, I mean, if, like, I could definitely see myself even playing this version of it just for fun every now and again, even though I have the Windows version now too, which would run better and look nicer and everything. The PS3 version has actually been down for a couple of days as I'm recording this video, and I don't know if it'll ever come back up, given the game is so old. I don't think they really support it anymore, but yeah, it's pretty cool to finally be able to play it now. So that's really about it for all that I wanted to show in this video. Took me forever to get everything all up and working, but it was a cool little project to buy this Mac Mini and then fix it up and then try to play some games on it. But yeah, and you know, also, man, games from like the 2000s, you forget how much games have grown like so quickly. I only have a 120 gigabyte SSD in this, and it only have 120 gigabyte SSD in this, and it still has space despite the fact that I've downloaded Prey, 2 copies of Call of Duty 4, Max Payne 3, and Left 4 Dead 2 on it. So yeah, and Mac OS in general. So kind of amazing. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the video. So decided to make the second part once I got some games actually up and running. If you guys have any suggestions on how to get Max Payne 3 to run in a windowed mode, I'd really like to see if I can get that to work properly. But anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys in other videos, and bye-bye.